Hello, checking in. It's been 4 weeks since I started my weight loss experiment. I am down to 205, and today we're going to be talking about negative repetitions. First, what do we mean by negative repetitions? So when you're doing an exercise, you go through two steps. First, concentric, and then eccentric. So using a curl as an example, concentric is when your muscle is contracting. Eccentric is when your muscle is lengthening. You can lower about 25-30% more than you can lift. And the amount of benefit that you gain from an exercise is a function of the amount of load that you're dealing with and the amount of time that you are under load. And so when you do negative repetitions, you're able to work with a heavier load. As a result, you're able to impose more of a strain on your muscles. The criticism you'll often hear about negative exercises is that you have to give yourself like a week off. They're so intense that you have to give yourself a week off to recover. Now, they complain about that. That's actually one of the selling points for me, is that if you're doing negative exercises, if you load upright, you only have to do it about once a week. Yeah, but what about endurance? Well, we'll get to that in a couple of weeks when we have the video on cardio. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video on Doug McGuff's Big 5 exercise. And in that video, it consists of 4 seconds out, 8 seconds back. 4 seconds of contraction, 8 seconds of extension. The actual protocol that I've been following, it's the same set of exercises, but instead of 4 and 8, I do 30 seconds lowering, 30 seconds pushing, and then 30 seconds lowering. And you go with about 70 to 80% of your max. This does a couple of things. One of them is you're at virtually no risk of injury. There is no sudden movement, there is no sudden jerking, etc. The other thing is it's a struggle to do the last 30 seconds of lowering. By the time you're done, your muscles have absolutely nothing left. To repeat from a previous week, you have several different types of muscle fibers. You have the slow twitch muscle fibers, which are the ones that you work out doing endurance type stuff. If you're doing tons of reps, it takes them about 90 seconds to recover. And then you have 3 progressively stronger and more bulky types of fast twitch muscle. And by completely wearing yourself out with a relatively heavy load, you end up working all 3 muscle types. I'll make a different video about this, but I'll touch on it real briefly here. When somebody undergoes an injury that prevents them from working out with heavy weight, there's not really a way to avoid the fast twitch muscle atrophying, because in their injured state, they're not able to work with enough weight to reach the fast twitch muscle. There's a Japanese doctor who came up with a workaround for that, and I'll make a video on that soon. It's related to blood flow restriction. It's a way of faking out your slow twitch muscles into turning off, and that way you can work your fast twitch muscles with light weight. It's kind of an interesting thing, but I'm not going to cover it today in detail. So the advantages of a negative exercise: when you're doing negative exercises, your body is in such a state of stress that a lot of different enzymes are released than you would normally release while exercising. And these enzymes do things such as they burn more fat, it makes you more prone to gain muscle, etc. The downside, as I mentioned again before, is that you really can't do these more than about once a week, because you need that long to recover. If your goal is to be in the gym a lot, then these are not for you. But if your goal is to get as much benefit as somebody who spends a week in the gym, then this is more your speed. One other thing I should point out, and this comes from a guy by the name of Drew Bay spelled B-A-Y-E, is that it's not about what you're doing to the bar. You kind of have to reframe how you think things. It's not about what you're doing to the weights, it's what the weights are doing to you. If you're concerned with what you're doing to the weights, for example, if you're a power lifter and you're going for a deadlift record, then ignore what I'm saying. If you're more concerned with what the weights are doing to you, in other words, what adaptation requirements it's imposing on your body, then this works really well. this will impose a need for adaptation on your muscle tissue, and you'll adapt. So I've been doing negative exercises for about 8 or 9 months now, and I've seen more benefits from this and seen more progress from this than I have with anything else in a couple of decades. Now, I should point out that my body type is not the type to carry a whole ton of muscle. My big thing freshman year of college was playing basketball. I didn't play on the team. I just wasn't that talented, but I loved jumping, and the highest I could ever touch was about 11.4, and I'm 6'4". If you look at my full reach, that translates into, depending on if I'm on my tiptoes or flat-footed, either a 36 or a 39-inch jump. And I'm just not a heavy guy. It's mostly legs, and I tend to be lean up here. So I've never been huge, but make the most of what my genes gave me. I was able to jump, and that was my thing. Now I mostly do hiking and stuff like that. I just seem to be, a lot better at that. It's all lower body. That's all I have for today. We're 4 weeks down, halfway there, 4 weeks to go, and we will see you next time.